it's me, Vicky Marie. This is him. This is the man that apparently assassinated, really. You can only call it assassination. Charlie Kirk. This is the man that the FBI, the police are looking for. Very clear pictures they've got of him. Surely somebody knows who he is. Anyway, hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. It really is crazy, isn't it, at the moment? It is completely crazy. What with the assassination of Charlie. Not a person whose political views I agree with, but everybody is entitled to their political views. And it's just terrible that he's been shot, because that is not the answer, is it? It's not the answer. That is war. That is like war, really. That's what we do. People kill each other in war situations. In a civilized society, you don't kill someone because they've got an opposite view to you. You don't incite violence. You don't do any of that. You're just open to debate. You have to always be open to debate. And if somebody has views that you find really disagreeable, then your job is to try and persuade them otherwise. And if you can't, well, you just have to let them have them. You're not God. You don't control the world. Don't control people's thoughts, even when you may find them disagreeable. And the way to try and convince people round to your way of thinking is by debate. And, as I say, a lot of things I don't agree with Charlie Kirk about, but one thing that I'll say for him, he went out there, he debated with people. He put his side forward and he said what he thought, whether it was popular or not. I've watched quite a few of his speeches now. And there's times when I'm going, I don't like what he's saying. But then there's other times when I think, oh, good for you. You're just saying what you think, even when he knows it won't be popular, wherever he is. He wasn't trying to be popular. He got popular, but he wasn't trying to be popular. He wasn't saying what he thought people wanted to hear. He's saying what he thinks and taking along with him the people that agreed with him and people that disagreed with him. Inviting them for debate, and sometimes they went and did some of the debates I've watched. People were horrible to him. To be honest, wasn't what I would call debate. But he just. Thing is, if he's saying something about, I don't know, if a person's saying something about something you disagree with. And you find disagreeable about what they think and what they're saying. If then you go along and start, the things that some people say to him, start saying horrible things and, getting angry and shouting and that, you're just showing, he just turns around then and says, well, this is what I mean. This is what you people are like, so gosh, it's a horrible world sometimes, isn't it? You think, is it better off just, not looking on social media because there's not much positive on there, is there? Anyway, I'm hoping something positive will come out of Charlie's murder. America is at a pivotal point, no doubt about it. And they can go two ways. They're going to go into civil war if they're not careful. I wish the president, Donald Trump, would be a little bit more calming and try and calm people down instead of fanning the flames, because that's how it's going to go. It can go into an even more violent situation, or everyone can get together and say, look, we're all here to, agree to disagree. If we disagree, that's how, people have always disagreed. You're never going to get a situation where everybody agrees, are you? So... But violence is not the answer. And I wish the president, because he's the one who would come out and say that, him or the vice president. Anyway. So that's what we're going to talk about. These pictures that have been released. This is him. This is the suspect. That's what we're going to talk about. But first of all, I want to say thank you to everybody. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you especially for being a member. We had our members live last night. Thank you for that. Thank you for buying buying Ko-fis. Thank you for sending super stickers, emailing me, leaving nice messages. Any positive way you support my channel. Thank you so much. So don't forget to like and subscribe. That's a free way you can help this channel. So hello, lovely lurkers. Hope you're all well. It's a Friday morning. The lovely lurkers, for those of you who don't know, are the people who like to watch but don't like to join in the chat, just like to lurk, but in a lovely way. Then we've got the loathsome lurkers, which are like the trolley dollies, etc. Hello to you. Good morning to you. Then we've got, of course, people who do participate in chat that I'm going to talk to in a minute. And we've got the lovely replay crew. People, if you're watching on replay, thank you so much. So now I'm going to come into the chat. Oh, just tell you a little bit about me, because it's likely that I might have new people because of this subject. My name is Vicky Marie. I chat about crime. I'm originally from the UK, but I now live in Spain, in Europe, and I chat about crime all over the world, really, but mainly the UK, the USA, and Australia, and Europe, of course. So if that's your cup of tea, please don't forget to subscribe. Okay, so now I'm going to come into the chat and say hello to those of you who are brave enough to venture into the chat. Thank you for being here and thank you for participating. So, hi David, hi Annie, hi Lily, hi Angel, hi Bluebell. Hi Maria. So, thank you for chatting, and all my chatters are respectful. So the only real rules of chat are don't mention other YouTube channels by name. There's a reason for that anyway. I'm not going into it now, but also just to be respectful to each other. Even if you've got different views, you're entitled to any view you like on my channel. But if you start being disrespectful in that, then really, I'm on the one strike you're out at the moment, because life's too short to deal with trolls, isn't it? But anyway, thank you for watching. So let's have a look at that picture again. So I've been having a look at it. So this is what we're going to talk about. We're going to look at the videos that the FBI have released of the suspect arriving at the campus and leaving after the shooting. So for anyone who does not know, Charlie Kirk, who's a conservative activist, particularly deals with young people. He goes around campuses in America and he talks about his views and conservatism. He's ultra conservative, really. You know, he's anti-immigration, anti-abortion. He's very religious man. He believes, you know, marriage is everything, having children. You know, he has got ideas. Really, women are, you know, he's got these very strong ideas of men being the breadwinner and women being the sort of trad wife type people, which is fair enough. And nothing wrong with being a trad wife, as long as it's a choice, not because you have to be. So yeah, he's got these very sort of conservative views, and he goes around campuses to really debate with people who don't agree with him. He's anti-trans, he's pro-guns, which is ironic. He's, you know, pro the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, and you know, contentiously, he did a couple of years ago say that shootings are a price that you have to pay for the Second Amendment. And, you know, it's a justified price that has to be paid. And now, unfortunately, he's fell victim to a shooting. So the thing is, you can see why anyone, you know, anyone who has strong views the other way. I mean, I don't understand it, even though I have got strong opposite views to Charlie in lots of things. Don't understand why you would shoot someone for it. But this person obviously is really annoyed with Charlie for some reason, and we can presume it's because of his views, but it could not be. I mean, we do not know a motive yet, and of course that's a big thing. You know, we have to... Now, the interesting thing I think about this guy, well, it's all interesting if you like, you know, why did he do it in the first place? So he looks quite young, doesn't he? Now, initially, they said he was college age. Do you think he's college age, or is he a little bit older than college age? Is he more late 20s? You know, it's difficult to tell just from a CCTV still. But he's not old anyway, that's for sure. He's young, isn't he? He's young. I'd say he's in his 20s, possibly 30 at the most. But I don't think he's 19. You know, I don't think he's 18, 19. I think he's definitely in his 20s. Let me know what you think in chat about age-wise. Yeah, that's more or less all you can tell. But the interesting thing is the T-shirt he's wearing. So this T-shirt he's wearing, this is a disabled veterans T-shirt, which is interesting, isn't it? So does this identify him as a disabled veteran? Because you'll see in the video later of him arriving at the campus there in Utah. In fact, I'll show you in a minute where the campus was, in case you're not familiar with American geography like me. Is he a disabled veteran? But isn't that a silly thing to be wearing that T-shirt to almost identify yourself as a disabled veteran? But he did have a limp. As he was walking into that campus. He was limping. Having said that, when he ran away, there was no real evidence of his limp, and he jumped off a roof, you know, to get away. So he can't be that disabled. If he is disabled, you know, he could jump off the roof and he could run away, no problem. So let's have just a closer look. So I think, is this an American flag? And it appears to have these birds on it. But people have said, and, you know, I don't know because I'm not American, I'm not familiar with these things. But other people over the internet have said that it's a disabled veteran T-shirt. So I've spent sort of a couple of hours this morning, to be honest, looking at disabled veterans T-shirts, and I'm going to show you. I couldn't find that particular one, but there are some that are similar online, you know, that you can buy online. You know, quite often they've got the flags on, obviously the American flag, and there was this one here. Look, seems to, you know, a lot of them have got birds on of some kind, so I suppose the American eagle will be on some of them. But no, you know, this is just one page, but I believe me, I've looked at loads this morning. I've really tried to find that exact one and not been able to. Is that one more or less? Yeah, that's got the eagle on it. So you can buy these disabled veteran. Oh, I'm not sharing it, am I? Oh no, it's the, yeah, I am. You can buy these disabled veteran T-shirts online easily. There are loads of websites, you know, that are specifically raising money for disabled veterans. You can buy them in Walmart. You know, so that one is a little bit similar, I suppose. Anyway, as I say, I couldn't find the exact one. Somebody might know where, you know, specifically it's been bought from. And I say you can buy them in Walmart. You can buy them anywhere. These disabled veteran T-shirts, and, you know, they sell them to raise money for the veterans. So is this man a veteran? I mean, he's young for a veteran, but if he got an injury, that might be why he's limping. Certainly there's a reason why he's wearing that, is that he obviously feels strongly about disabled veterans. Whether he's one or not, nobody, you know, we don't know, because we don't know who he is yet, do we? But yeah, and he's, for someone who's sort of quite clever, really, in a way, the way he got in there, and he's certainly a very good shot, though, you know, it's a moot point, because was he aiming for Charlie's head and missed the head and got the neck? So that mean that maybe he's not as good a shot as we think. I mean, I've listened to a lot of experts saying that normally a sniper would not aim for the throat. They would aim for the head. That's where you aim for, isn't it? If you want to take someone out immediately, you aim for someone's head. And maybe they were aiming for Charlie's head and they missed his head and got his, unfortunately for Charlie, his carotid artery instead. And, you know, I just think, if you know, probably a few of you have seen the video. I'm not showing the video on my channel. It's very graphic. It's very distressing. It shouldn't be allowed to be circulated on social media. I think it's disgusting. I've reported it a couple of times on a couple of accounts, because I just think, why are you doing that? You know, you don't need to show the whole incident so graphically. That's not fair. You wouldn't like it if it was your loved one, would you? All over social media, being murdered and blood everywhere. And, you know, it's terrible that that's allowed to happen, I think. So, you know, is this guy not such a dead shot after all? You know, was he aiming for the head and he missed and got the neck? And I say, these experts, I've watched people on different channels and things saying that, you know, army experts, ex-snipers, etc., saying you would not aim for the throat, you would aim for the head. If you wanted to kill someone instantly, you aim for the head. So maybe they're not such a good shot as it seemed at first. They were quite a long way away, though. I mean, they're definitely trained in shooting. You know, some people are saying they could be a hunter. They don't necessarily have to be an ex-army person. They could be a hunter who's just got good, you know, hunters are good at sniping as well. So until the guy's actually found and we know who he is and we know his history, we don't know, do we? If he's a hitman, like for people, or is he a hunter? But he's a good shot. I mean, that's still, even if he was aiming for the head, that distance and all the people that were there, and there were people up on the stage, and it's still a good shot at the end of the day, I think. Or maybe it isn't. People who know more about shooting. I haven't got a clue. I've never shot a gun in my life, and I don't really want to, you know. So, you know, what do I know? But I'm sure if there's any of you out there that are hunters, maybe, or have been in the army or whatever, you'll know, and maybe you'll agree or disagree with that expert that I was listening to that said it's not likely he was aiming for his neck. He was likely aiming for his head. So he actually missed in a way. Yeah, and I agree. Sorry, I'm just coming back to the chat. I have to come back every now and again, just make sure you're all okay. Oh, hi, Geordie. No, I can see your message now. Maybe I missed it earlier. Sorry. I can see your message now, Geordie. So maybe I missed it earlier. But yeah, I agree. I think someone should know him from that photo. I mean, it's a pretty clear photo, isn't it? And the T-shirt. I mean, the thing is, it seems a silly thing to do, really, to go to kill someone wearing a distinctive T-shirt. You know, because people will remember the army vets. Well, he's got a photo of it anyway, and of course his cap and everything. You know, you'd think you'd be more sort of like plain. Do you know what I mean? Completely plain with everything you were wearing if you're trying to be low key. So they found the weapon, haven't they? I believe, the police. But anyway, we're going to look at that, what the progress is so far of the police operation. Though they have not caught him, as far as I know. Now, of course, it's night time in America now, though I'm sure they're still working through the night to catch this guy. But anyway, if anyone hears anything while I'm on live, I'll keep checking every now and again to see if there is any news. But as far as I know, he hasn't been caught yet. But surely it's only a matter of time, isn't it? Okay, so let's first of all have a look at the video of when he arrived at this campus. Well, actually, first of all, let's have a look at where it happened. Let's see. So it was Utah, wasn't it? So now, interestingly enough, of course, Utah is a very conservative state, isn't it? In general, it's like the sort of heart of the Mormon community. Let me just check that it was Utah first before I start. Yeah, it was at the Utah University. So what was, let's see. Utah Valley University. So let's have a look. So traditionally, definitely a conservative area, the heart of the Muslim, God forbid, not the heart of the Muslim community, it's the heart of the Mormon community, isn't it? So yeah, but obviously that doesn't mean to say that everybody who lives there is conservative. Or this person, see, we don't know who he is, so he might have travelled there, he might not live anywhere near there. Let's have a look. So, God. I'm just trying to. So, if you don't know any geography, if you like, of Utah, Salt Lake City, of course, most people have probably heard of Salt Lake City. And Utah is sort of, yeah, this is where it is. So it's sort of in the center, is it? Or going towards the south of the USA, sort of in the middle here, this state. So this is where it's happened. But Charlie travels all over the place, doesn't he? So, you know, that just happened to be where he is. That event has probably been planned for quite a long time. So plenty of time for someone to plan going there. It doesn't have to be somewhere from that someone from that local area. They could have travelled there. They could have driven there. They could have got a Greyhound bus and gone there. They could have flown there. You know, just because it was in Utah does not mean that the actual shooter, of course, was from Utah, does it? It's very sad, isn't it? The more, let's have a look at the website for the Utah Valley University. Oh, look, it's closed. Yeah. So campus closure until the September the 15th, 2025. We are shocked by the tragic events of September the 10th. This is an ongoing investigation. That's sad, isn't it? So they've had to close the whole campus down. So this is the website, located in the heart of Utah County, Utah Valley University. I wonder if the actual event, you know, was it on the website before? I mean, it was a planned event. It wouldn't just have been, you know, decided the day before that they're going to have this event. You know, it will have been planned. So let's see, we've got visitors. Visit. Just seeing if it's got any details of the event. Anyway, doesn't matter really. So sadly, the campus is closed because of the events, which is fair enough, really. Couldn't expect them to carry on as normal, really, after that happening right in their midst. I mean, it's a terrible event, you know, it just really is. I think everyone's reeling from it a bit, you know. I say even people like me, I am opposite probably to the views of Charlie, but you know, it's still I'm outraged that somebody should be assassinated just because they didn't, you know, we presume that was the reason why he was killed, because of his views. Nobody should be killed for their views. Nobody, you know, even someone with really extreme views, they shouldn't be shot for it. You know, maybe they should be locked up or whatever, but not shot. You know, it's like Don't know if any of you have ever read the book by Stephen King or seen the film. Isn't it The Dead Zone with Christopher Walken? The film was this. This reminds me. I mean, that's such a good book. All Stephen King's books are good, aren't they? But that deals with a guy, didn't it, that had an accident and then found that he could see into people's souls, more or less, and see into the future. When he touched someone, he could see their future, and he touched this politician who was played by Martin Sheen, and saw that he was going to become president one day, and he was going to start nuclear war. And so he went to assassinate this politician when he was sort of in the early days of selections and things. He went to a very similar, in fact, this guy was speaking at an event, and the guy that was played by Christopher Walken, the character that had touched this guy, had shook his hand and seen that eventually he would start World War III. And he went there to kill him, and he tried to kill him. I don't want to spoil the story for you because, no, I won't tell you what happened. But it's interesting, this whole thing reminds me of it, but that was fiction. But truth is always stranger than fiction. And obviously I'm not saying that that's what's happened with this guy, that he got some sort of psychic message that Charlie was going to start World War III. But at the end of the day, he's probably took umbrage to Charlie's views and where it was taking America, and killed him. We presume that's why he did it. As I say, we don't know for sure, but we have to presume that. So yeah, truth is always stranger than fiction. For every fiction, for every book, for every series or whatever, there's always something stranger out there that really happened. Okay, so where am I going now? So now I want to. So we've had a look at where it happened. We've had a look at the shooter, his T-shirt. What I really want to look at next is him arriving at the university. Just trying to put some windows down so I don't get confused. Where is it? I'll get these things ready and then can't find them. There's the video of him arriving. Here it is. So this is him. This news item talks about him actually arriving at the campus. Now, apparently there was no security whatsoever. I saw a lady talking who was at the event, who was right up close, watched poor Charlie being shot. And she said there was no security. They did not even check their tickets. There was no checking of bags or, see if anyone had a gun or a knife or whatever. And I mean, it's sad that has to be done, but maybe we've got to start thinking, there's so much violence, not only in America, but all over the world. Maybe we've got to think all these events where somebody contentious, everyone's contentious these days, isn't it? It feels like, there's anyone who's speaking that everywhere's so tribal. It's like either you believe what I say or you're an idiot, not like, oh, well, let's talk about this. I mean, Charlie was a person, whether you agreed with his views or not, he was a person who invited people to come and talk to him, was open about talking to people and defended his position, whether you agree with it or not. And he had the right to do that. He had the right to have his position. He had the right to debate it with people as they have the right to disagree with him. But you do not have the right to shoot somebody like that. So maybe, this is sad, isn't it? Because these sort of events, it's cast a shadow. It's like so many high school shootings in America, and this is a sort of it's different, but it's similar. It's like, this is a university campus and somebody wasn't safe, just talking. And just the fact that they weren't safe, of course, people that went there weren't safe, because that bullet could easily have gone astray and shot somebody else. It's awful. You're not safe. It's political debate, not a safe place anymore. Political debate is important, isn't it, in a society? And you should be safe to express your views, whatever they are. Now, in the UK, I don't know if it still exists. People, because I don't live in the UK now, I live in Spain. But do you know, does Hyde Park Corner still exist? Because there used to be a place in London where you could go called Hyde Park Corner. You could express whatever view you wanted. And that's always, in fact, I'll have a little Google of it. It was called Hyde Park Corner. And anyone, the loopiest, craziest things that you wanted to say, you could go and say with impunity. Let's see. Does it still exist? Can people still use it? Why is it coming up? Is it in the congestion zone? That's not what I asked. So is it still a place for free speech? So literally, you could go there. Yeah, it says Hyde Park Speaker's Corner remains a place for free speech when anyone can speak on any lawful subject without prior permission, although speakers are not immune for the law. So this was established by the Parks Regulation Act of 1872. It's interesting, isn't it? I'll show you a picture of it in a minute. It's been a platform for open-air public speaking and continues to hold diverse debates and discussions. So apparently it is still there. Let's just have a look. This is it, Hyde Park Speaker's Corner, a public place in London where you can say anything, as long as it's lawful. I mean, you can't go there and say, oh, death to the Jews or whatever, or, you know, those kind of things. Anything that's illegal, you can't say. But you can say, express whatever view you have, and people get into debates. And, you know, there should be places like that. And also you don't have to book it or anything, just turn up and do your bit, you know. So let's have a look what Wikipedia says it. So Speaker's Corner is an area where free speech, open air public speaking, debate and discussion are allowed. The original and best known is the northeast corner of Hyde Park in London, England. So there are other places like Lincoln's Inn Fields, Finsbury Park, Clapham Common, Kennington Park and Victoria Park. So now they'd be quite dangerous places to be, I think, nowadays. I just think everything's dangerous. You know, you're almost scared to give an opinion, aren't you? You know, that's how it feels. Because people come, come right at you for your opinions. So people are scared to express opinions these days. Okay, let's have a look at this video.
We have new video of what police are looking at right now this hour. TMZ has obtained new video of the before and after images of the suspect accused of killing Charlie Kirk. I want to show you the first video here. This is of the suspect walking to the venue in this neighborhood. Take a look. You can see the images now of that suspect. They're walking in the street. And if you can see, the person is walking with a limp there, and it is believed to be because that person has a rifle in the pants and they are walking very difficult.
So he's walking with a limp, but it's thought to be he's walking with a limp because he's got the rifle stuck down his trousers. So, yeah, because I watched this video and I thought, oh, God, he's got a limp. Maybe he is a disabled veteran. And then I watched the other video that we're going to watch in a minute of him jumping off the roof. And I thought, God, he doesn't look very disabled there, because he sort of jumps off the flat roof and runs off. So now that makes sense now what this guy is saying, that he's probably limping because he's got a bloody rifle stuck down his trousers. And that's interesting what someone's just said in chat, that guns are allowed on campus because it's an open carry state. You know, to British people like me, and not only British people, in many countries, including the country where I live now, Spain, that would be really strange to think that people could just walk around carrying guns. You know, it'd be quite terrifying, really, because you are relying on the facts. I know that it's the Second Amendment and all that, and I know this is very important to American people, and I really do understand that. But the thing is, you're making a premise that people are not loopy. You know, like if people are, I mean, it's bad if they're carrying knives around. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of knife crime in the UK. Not so much here in Spain, or not at the moment anyway, but who knows, it'll probably all change. Spain's always about 15, 20 years behind everywhere else, but sometimes that's a good thing. You know, we don't have the same street violence in Spain as in London and places in the UK, for example. And I know that if somebody wants to do some damage, they can find something to do damage with. It doesn't have to be a gun. I understand that. But the thing is, if you're causing damage with a knife, you have to be much more up close and personal, don't you? You know, like you wouldn't have been able to, well, you could have jumped on the stage, I suppose, and stabbed Charlie in the neck, but you know, he would have been caught straight away, wouldn't he? You can't do it from such a distance with knives and things like that. Just you know, I think there's a big presumption there of being an open gun carry state, as long as you've got a license. I presume you need your license and that. Just presuming that people are, you know, mentally stable, and so many people nowadays aren't mentally stable. I think COVID's got a lot to do with that. I think the lockdowns, you know, totally messed everybody's head up, to be honest. Anyone who had slight mental health problems before, they were made even worse by being locked down, etc. Especially young people, you know, because it's, at the end of the day, it's not natural for a young person to be locked in the house. You know, when you, as you get older, you don't mind staying in so much. You know, I quite enjoyed staying in because I probably stay in anyway. I'm not one for going out now, but you know, I'm old now. But when I was young, oh my God, it would have been awful. You know, I was out every night. You know, really from 16 to 25 probably. It was just constant partying and what have you, you know, and even later on, like, but not to the same degree. So it must have been very difficult for young people. You know, they got very isolated. A lot of them got radicalized online, either to the far right or the far left. I mean, radicalization works both ways of the political spectrum. I think it could, you know, this isolation of, and then of course the internet, social media, etc. And believe me, I feel like I need, after the last couple of days, the things I've seen on social media, with the murder of Puri Renner on the train in North Carolina in America, and then this Charlie, and you know, and the videos just pop up at you. You're not going on there looking to watch that video of all that violence. They just pop up at you on TikTok or whatever, and it's just like boom for X, and you just think, oh my God, and then before you know it, you've seen it and you can't unsee it. And the young people are seeing these videos. You know, I'm old, as I say, I'm older, supposedly more, you know, reasonable in my head, but I've got to say these last few days have really took a toll on my mental health. I've really felt it. So God knows how it is for young people. I feel for young people so much because they've got a lot to deal with today. And not only that, they don't only see the things that happen around the corner from them, you know, they see things all over the world, you know, trauma, earthquakes, wars, you name it, it's all there on their phone. It's not good, is it?
Because of that object that is inside of the pants. Take a look here of that limp right there. And you can see there the suspect continuing to walk the street there, very close to where the venue was. And then this is after where we see now that suspect clearly running in the field. And this was all obtained there by TMZ. And of course, police are looking at that. The feds are looking at that as well. But this is the newest video that we are seeing of all this play out. And again, just happening moments ago as well, we are getting a new shot of the person of interest, the suspect, where these new images just released by the Utah Department of Public Safety. I want to show you this one as well, a little bit closer up. You can see what they are hoping that by releasing these photos and images, that somebody out there is going to recognize this individual. There is a $100,000 reward for the capture and arrest of this individual that is accused of killing Charlie Kirk just yesterday. All right, we are going to be keeping an eye on all of this here for you on Live Now from Fox. Again, we are 45 minutes away from a FBI news conference out in Utah. FBI Director Kash Patel will be there, and he will be there with the other law enforcement officials, with the governor of Utah and others. So we will be taking that in full as soon as it gets going. Stay right here with us. More to come on Live Now from Fox in just a moment.
Now, I have a feeling they didn't have that press conference, because didn't they say they'd had some developments? I think just before they were about to do I'll have a look in a minute. Maybe they did do the press conference. But then, of course, they've now released as well the video of the person running away. Let's just watch that video again of them arriving, and then we're going to have a look at the video of them running away. Hi,
video of what police are looking at right now this hour. TMZ has obtained new video of the before and after images of the suspect accused of killing Charlie Kirk. I want to show you the first video here. This is of the suspect walking to the venue in this neighborhood. Take a look. You can see the images now of that suspect. They're walking in the street. And if you can see, the person is walking with a limp there, and it is believed to be because that person has a rifle in the pants, and they are walking very difficult because of that object that is inside of the pants. Take a look here of that limp right there. And you can see there the suspect continuing to walk the street there, very close to where the venue was. And then this is after where we see now that suspect clearly running in the field. And this was all obtained there by TMZ. And of course, police are looking at that. The feds are looking at that as well. But this is the newest video that we are seeing of all this play out. And again, just happening moments ago as well, we are getting a new shot of the person of interest, the suspect.
Now, I don't know anything about that guy you're talking about, Paul, but surely, I mean, the picture of him is so clear, you know, not those perhaps, but the picture that was shown earlier. You know, somebody knows who this person is. If that was my son, I would know who he was from that picture. Of course, you know, despite the fact he's got a cap on and sunglasses, you can still see who he is, and you would know if he had that T-shirt or not, surely. Maybe if he didn't live at home, you wouldn't know what clothes he had or whatever, but somebody knows who that person is. And if it is that guy, I'd say I don't know anything about him, the one you're talking about, Paul. Surely they would know that immediately from that picture. I don't know. Just seems to me it's a very clear picture. Maybe
where these new images just released by the Utah Department of Public Safety. I want to show you this one as well, a little bit closer up. You can see what they are hoping that by releasing these photos and images, that somebody out there is going to recognize this individual.
Surely.
There is a $100,000 reward for the capture and arrest of this individual.
Yeah, and $100,000 reward. That's going to make somebody talk, isn't it? Oh, look, it's got the American flag on it. Now, of course, it may be that he picked this T-shirt to wear so he would blend in, because he's in a conservative state. You know, he's not going to put a T-shirt on saying, you know, down with Trump or whatever, or, you know, LGBT sort of type T-shirt, is he? Because he wants to blend in. So maybe that T-shirt is not because he cares about American veterans, disabled veterans, or has any vested interest in it whatsoever, may just be so that he would fit in that conservative environment.
Individual that is accused of killing Charlie Kirk just yesterday. All right, we are going to be keeping an eye on all of this here for you on Live Now.
So, okay, so that was him arriving at the campus. Now we're going to have a look at him leaving the campus. And he obviously is pretty fit and healthy because he's seen running on the roof after, you know, he shot poor Charlie, and then jumping down and fleeing. So let's have a look at that.
If you look up to the top left, you'll see the building where the shooter was proned out in the top left corner. So here you see the suspect ran behind that upper building. He's going to come out on the right, moves to this far right corner.
So he's very nimble, isn't he? You know, so he is. He's young. He's not, I can see now, he's not limping at all there. So that limp was because of the gun, obviously.
As he does, he's going to climb off the edge and then drop down to the ground. As he did that, he left some palm impressions. There's some smudges, some places we're looking to collect DNA. There's a shoe imprint where we believe the suspect is clearly identified as wearing Converse tennis shoes. It's important to note his black T-shirt, his black pants, and there appears to be some white on the soles of those Converse tennis shoes.
Car going past, you see some people walking past.
Identifiable items that we're looking for. After he crosses the street, this is where he moves over into the wooded area. This is video evidence that we utilize to track his movements and to locate that firearm in that wooded area following the discovery of...
Yeah, so he went over to this wooded area and that's where he disposed of the firearm. They found the firearm.
This evidence.
Let's watch it again.
If you look up to the top left, you'll see the building where the shooter was proned out in the top left corner. So here you see the suspect ran behind that upper building. He's going to come out on the right, moves to this far right corner. As he does, he's going to climb off the edge and then drop down to the ground. As he did that, he left some palm impressions. There's some smudges, some places we're looking to collect DNA. There's a shoe imprint where we believe the suspect is clearly identified as wearing Converse tennis shoes. It's important to note his black T-shirt, his black pants, and there appears to be some white on the soles of those Converse tennis shoes. Those are all identifiable items that we're looking for. After he crosses the street, this is where he moves over into the wooded area. This is video evidence that we utilize to track his movements and to locate that firearm in that wooded area following the discovery of this evidence.
Okay, so yeah, a few people are saying that picture, the very clear picture, is AI generated, which it could be. Let's have a look at the definite official pictures. Maybe they're not so clear. Let's have a look. Where's his pictures? Let's see. Yeah, so maybe that picture is not, you know, as he actually looks. Right, let's see the images. So these are the definite images. And maybe that other image has been enhanced. You know, the problem these days with AI and everything, and so, you know, you just don't know, do you? But these are definitely the pictures that have been released by the FBI. See that? It's a much clearer sort of Union Jack type thing on that one, isn't it? So what's the name of this guy that everyone's saying that it might be? Let me have a look, because we don't know that it's him, so I'm not saying it's him. But I'm going to have a look at him. Sky Valadez. I've never heard of him. But to be fair, and I'll be honest, I hadn't heard of Charlie before all this, so. So what is he, a YouTuber, an activist? So a lot of people online are saying, oh, look, we've got a video here of Sky Valadez debating with Charlie.
You're so smart. Show the world how smart you are. We'll give you our mic, not your bullhorn. So come on up. So now we know that you're like a blatant narcissist that needs attention at all times to cut in line. Tell us what's so pressing that you needed to interrupt us before he could even talk.
So what do you think? This apparently is the guy that some people there in the chat, and I just want to I don't know that it was him, and I'm not agreeing with them, disagreeing with them. I'm just showing up the guy, showing the debate that he had with Charlie. And what do people think? Do you think it looks like the shooter, or do you think? I mean, don't forget, a lot of rumours go around. We don't know that this was him that did it, and we always have to be aware of that. Till the authorities identify the shooter, we are literally just speculating.
Let's talk about the 200 people deported without due process to El Salvador. I don't know if you saw this morning, but a United States citizen was actually deported.
It was not a U.S. citizen. That's not correct.
Liar.
It's not a U.S. citizen. It was actually,
come on.
No, it was someone that was living here. Yeah, it was not a U.S. citizen.
Hey, this guy just lies. It's not. No. Hey, no. You want to have a debate, but you don't.
It was
debate.
not a U.S. citizen. First of all,
you want to have a debate, but you actually don't debate. There's nothing more ill-fated than this.
So we already have a mic.
Name 2 times. Name 2 times where you
show me you're losing without telling me you're losing.
What? So you're just going to lie?
Well, first of all, it's not a U.S. citizen. He was living here for a while. He was part of MS-13. Answer yes or no. Okay. Should members of a terrorist organization be able to stay in the United States after they've murdered, raped, and gone after American citizens?
Obviously, no.
So we have deported those people back to their country.
The Fifth Amendment
That's what they've done.
calls for due process.
The Fifth Amendment does not apply to foreign citizens that are here illegally.
All persons.
No. It's only to U.S. citizens.
That's a lie. He's a liar.
So,
he can't debate. He just lies.
You've now sworn like 3 times. Let's just calm down a little bit.
Freedom of speech?
Well, I mean, you could say whatever you want if you want to make a fool of yourself, but we do have like 10-year-olds here and 11-year-olds, so can we have some decency?
Whatever.
You don't care. You're a typical leftist because you only care about yourself.
Oh, yeah, you see, that's like, the thing of... So then we get this, you're a typical leftist. I'm a lefty. It really winds me up. Because someone's a lefty doesn't mean to say they can't debate. This person is getting angry and swearing, and shouldn't be swearing because there are children there and everything, and he should be aware of that. He's obviously very angry, for whatever reason, and there are things that I don't agree with that Charlie says, but I must admit I've watched quite a lot of his debates now. And quite often somebody gets up there. There was one I was watching. He was a 70-year-old guy who said he wanted to fight him, and it was just like, why are you doing that? Because, do they set up these sort of left-leaning people that are a bit crazy? Do they set them up to debate him so it makes them look stupid? Not all left-wing people would do what this man is doing. And, he's probably, I might agree with some of his views, but it's a way of expressing them. And yeah, the swearing and everything, if there are children there, it is not a good thing, is it? So, yeah, I wish I would have seen Charlie's debate, so known about him earlier, because unfortunately I've only got to know about Charlie after he's been shot. You know, so I'm looking back at things that I'd never seen before. And, you know, as I say, if I suppose if you had to put a, you know, I hate labels, that's the thing. So people would call me left wing, and I'm left wing, but I do have some, you know, it doesn't mean to say that I agree with every left wing ideal. You know, there are lots of things that I've heard Charlie say that I do agree with. And, you know, I think we're just people with views. Why do we have to be left wing, right? Why can't we just have our views? And yes, some of my views are probably left wing, and probably some of my views people would think were right wing. You know, you get that sort of, I'm just a person with views, you know, probably leaning more to the left than the right, depending on what it is, you know. But I don't like labels, really. Let's just watch this again, because just in case, I don't think it looks like the guy, but it could be him.
All right, show the world how smart you are. We'll give you our mic, not your bullhorn, so come on up. So now we know that you're like a blatant narcissist that needs attention at all times to cut in line. Tell us what's so pressing that you needed to interrupt us before he could even talk.
So, let's talk about the 200 people deported without due process to El Salvador. I don't know if you saw this morning, but a United States citizen was actually deported.
It was not a U.S. citizen. That's not correct.
Liar.
It's not a U.S. citizen. It was actually...
Come on.
No, it was someone that was living here. Yeah, it was not a U.S. citizen.
Hey, this guy just lies. It's not...
No.
Hey, no. You want to have a debate, but you don't.
It was not a U.S. citizen, first of all.
You want to have a debate, but you actually don't debate. There's nothing more ill-fated than this.
So we already have a mic.
Name 2 times. Name 2 times where you
show me you're losing without telling me you're losing.
What? So you're just going to lie?
Well, first of all, it's not a U.S. citizen. He was living here for a while. He was part of MS-13. Answer yes or no.
Okay.
Should members of a terrorist organization be able to stay in the United States after they've murdered, raped, and gone after American citizens?
Obviously, no.
So we have deported those people back to their country.
The Fifth Amendment
That's what they've done.
calls for due process.
The Fifth Amendment does not apply to foreign citizens that are here illegally.
All persons.
No. It's only to U.S. citizens.
That's a lie. He's a liar.
So, okay.
He can't debate. He just lies.
You've now sworn like 3 times. Let's just
What,
calm
you don't
down
like
a little
freedom
bit.
of speech?
Well, I mean, you could say whatever you want if you want to make a fool of yourself, but we do have like 10-year-olds here and 11-year-olds, so can we have some decency?
Whatever.
You don't care. You're a typical leftist because you only care about yourself,
Who said I was
not
a
about
leftist?
the other people.
Who said I was a leftist?
Well, it's very clear by how you're acting.
It's not funny. I'm not laughing because it's funny. It's just, you know, I love debate as well. You know, like for anyone who doesn't know, when I went to university many years ago, that's what I studied, politics and international relations. I love debating. I've been brought up, you know, in a household where my father was very left-wing, a socialist, you know, like a man who fought for his country. And when he came out with all the other servicemen, they weren't going to put up with the conditions that they'd had to live in before the Second World War. And they came back and voted out Winston Churchill, voted in a socialist government, and Britain got better for working class people. So, you know, I've been brought up in, he was, and, you know, he didn't get involved in politics, but you could always have a good discussion with him. And in my house, it was always, you know, my mum was left-wing, if you like, or socialist until Mrs. Thatcher became Prime Minister. And then she just adored Mrs. Thatcher because she was a woman, probably not, she didn't know anything about her policies or anything like that. And they used to have big debates, but it wasn't about politics. It was just really my mum saying, well, she's a woman and she's a brilliant Prime Minister, but you could never pin her down to any actual policies. And where we lived in Manchester, We lived right on the front of a busy road. Anyone who knows Manchester will know Barlamore Road. It's a massive, it's a big main road. We lived on a council estate right on that road. And we had a tree in the garden. So whenever it was election time, we'd get people knocking on the door wanting to put their placards in the tree because it was a brilliant place because of all the cars going past. And so the Labour Party, who were the socialists, used to be the socialists, they'd knock on the door and my dad would say, yeah, put up your placard, for your candidate in the tree. And then if my mum answered the door and it was the Conservatives, she would say, oh, yeah, put up your placard in the tree. So there's this like competition for whose placard went in the tree. And that, I suppose that's where I started getting interested in politics, because we talked about politics in my house. Anyway, and then I went to university and I did a degree in politics, and I've got 2-1 in politics. And I've remained interested in politics ever since. It's like I just can't help it. Sometimes I think, because you get quite, just like with true crime, you get a bit depressed about politics sometimes. You get all this hope, when a new government gets in, you hope that things are going to be better, and then it doesn't happen, and it's depressing afterwards. So, but I find politics intriguing, and I find the whole shenanigans of it, the manoeuvring, all the nitty gritty of it, I find it interesting. So I do find Charlie very interesting, and I think it's a shame, as I say, nobody should be shot anyway for their political views. And it's a shame because he's a young man. He's a father of 2, a husband. That's not good, is it? So whether he's a person that you agreed with or didn't agree with, it's not right what's happened to him, I don't think. But anyway, thank you, because that was quite interesting. So thank you to people who said about that guy. I've never heard of the other guy either, so. Yeah, it may well be AI generated. I don't know. You just don't know about, just don't know, do you, on the internet these days? But I've showed the pictures like that the FBI have released as well. So, I don't know. Everything, sometimes you wonder, don't you wonder what you can believe, is the media, not only social media, I mean, the mainstream media is pretty crappo as well, isn't it? So, you just never know, do you, about information that you're shown. Oh, I wanted to show. So anyway, he's been, his body has been taken back to Arizona. I presume that's where he lives. And JD Vance, they took him, didn't they? Let's have a look if we can we get the video up of now. I do feel, now this is interesting. Oh, sorry, let me share this again. Yeah, misinformation. We have to be careful with misinformation. To me, I'll show things that are wrong, but to me, you always have to take everything with a pinch of salt till you get the official confirmation of things. So Governor Cox said there's a tremendous amount of misinformation circulating online and urged people not to share it further. Sorry, I've already shared it, but never mind. In reference to Kirk, Cox said, I think Charlie said it best, that when things get bad, we should put our phones down and spend time with our families. The adversaries want violence, he added, claiming that Russian and Chinese bots on social media are playing a role in spreading false information. Of course, this is the new warfare now as well, isn't it? And they make it, the Russians and the Chinese, but I'm sure it happens the other way. If there's anything going on in Russia or China, I'm sure American bots, British bots are out there spreading misinformation. This is almost like a new warfare that we have now, isn't it? Like war of sort of social media and hacking into things, and this a different sort of chaos rather than actually firing a missile at someone. There's other ways of creating chaos and being at war, isn't it? So the Utah governor said law enforcement has received more than 7,000 tips. This is the governor, Spencer Cox. He's described it as a political assassination. Said 200 interviews have been completed, and encourages the public to continue or send any photo or video information to the FBI. So Mason is now describing enhanced still photographs of the suspect. Pay attention to his distinctive T-shirt, black backpack, and cap with a triangle logo. I mean, where can he have gone, really? Let's see. Oh, here it is. So I might be able to find that press conference. Anyway, the watch live button at the top of this page. Okay. So here are some photos of Charlie's casket being offloaded from Air Force 2. So Air Force 2 is J.D. Vance's plane, isn't it? And he accompanied Charlie home, didn't he? From Salt Lake City, Utah to Phoenix. Heartbreaking, isn't it, really? 31 years old. 31 years old. And there is J.D. Vance with his wife Usher and Charlie Kirk's widow. I bet that's something she never expected to hear. Not like, soon, like maybe in the future, many, many years down the line. She wouldn't have expected it as him in his 30s, early 30s, only just 30, that she would become a widow. God, it does remind me so much of the JFK assassination. I think it's because he's young as well. Let's have a look if I can see that. She said it was up at the top. Press conference. Let's see if I can find it. I didn't see the press conference. Yeah, it was postponed, it says. Yeah, it says on, let's have a look at the videos. Okay. Here we go.
Kellner. I am the Communications Director for the Utah Department of Public Safety. This evening, we have FBI Director Patel, FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino, Special Agent in Charge Robert Bowles, Governor Spencer Cox, Lieutenant Governor Deidre Henderson, and Commissioner Anderson, as well as, Commissioner Bo Mason, as well as some local partners here present with us today. Governor, we'll kick it off.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us here tonight. We appreciate the media and the partnership we have with you in helping us to get information out to the public so that we can catch this assassin and hold him accountable. We are going to share a portion of a video and that we have of the suspect, as well as some new stills. Those have already been released, but we want to make sure that they get as much attention as possible so that we can get help from the public in tracking down this evil human being. So we're going to queue up the video right now. Show that. I've asked Commissioner Bo Mason if he would narrate to you what is happening in this video.
Thank you, Governor. Bo Mason, Commissioner for the Utah Department of Public Safety. If you look up to the top left, you'll see the building where the shooter was proned out in the top left corner. We'll go ahead and play that video and I'll narrate as we walk through that. So here you see the suspect ran behind that upper building. He's going to come out on the right, moves to this far right corner, As he does, he's going to climb off the edge and then drop down to the ground. As he did that, he left some palm impressions. There's some smudges, some places we're looking to collect DNA. There's a shoe imprint where we believe the suspect is clearly identified as wearing Converse tennis shoes. Again, we'll replay that again so you can get another view of that. It's important to note his black t-shirt, his black pants, and there appears to be some white on the soles of those Converse tennis shoes. Those are all identifiable items that we're looking for. In the stills that are going to follow this, you're going to see a very distinctive t-shirt with an American flag and appears to have an eagle on it. There's also a baseball cap with a triangle on it and a pair of sunglasses. All distinctive, all things that we would ask the public to look for and try to identify if they know someone who has those items, who has been seen wearing those items. We're looking for all that information. Here you see the suspect after dropping off the building. He moved around across this grassy area, around the parking lot. We're going to pan to the right. After he crosses the street, this is where he moves over into the wooded area. This is the video evidence that we utilize to track his movements and to locate that firearm in that wooded area following the discovery of this evidence. Good. You want to go to the stills? So here's the still photographs I mentioned. These have been enhanced. So these are slightly different than what we introduced earlier. Please pay close attention to the t-shirt. Like I said, very distinctive with that American flag and that eagle. The hat with the triangle and the sunglasses. If you'll go to the next picture, please. The backpack as well. All identifying features that we're hoping the public can help us identify and lead us to this suspect. Next picture. And again, there's a better picture of the hat with that triangle logo, and again, the t-shirt, blue jeans, and you get a good look at those Converse tennis shoes as well. We have pushed these out. We'll continue to push these out, and we just ask for the public's cooperation through the public. The tips that have been coming in are what are giving us our next leads and enabling us to continue to further this investigation. We've had great cooperation from the public, and we're continuing to ask for that as we move forward. Thank you, and I'll turn the time back over to Governor Cox.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Mason. I want to thank Director Patel and his team. It's great to have them on the ground with us tonight. We've had several briefings, and he's had an opportunity to walk the crime scene. We appreciate our local law enforcement here. Again, we have.
Oh, so that Patel guy, I mean, you know, he was rubbish, wasn't he? Because he in the middle of one press conference that the police were doing, saying they didn't have a suspect in custody. He was out there tweeting, oh, there's a suspect in custody, you know. So I think he just wanted to say, you know, there have been people in custody, of course, but they've been released, haven't, and there's been no charges. But he was out there. I think he was just keen to, you know, people want answers, don't they? And he was too keen to give the answers too quickly. And I think part of that is because social media moves so quick. So they're trying to get the message out quick, but they can't ever move as quick as social media. They just can't. So it's better that they take their time, and the only message they need to release is we're taking our time, and we will, any confirmed development, we will let you know about as soon as possible. But it's like they're always on catch up with social media, but they've got to rise above that. There's no point in pretending social media doesn't exist. It does. So you've got to be strong, and you've got to say, look, when we know anything definite, we'll confirm. Not trying to keep up with social media. You don't have to keep up with social media, because everybody knows social media has to be taken with a pinch of salt, or they should know anyway. You know, you see things on social media and you think, oh, but you have to wait and make sure, you know, it's like when on the night that it happened, you know, I was literally, you know, glued to the news and everything. And then it was Donald Trump who announced that Charlie was dead. you know, and so you think that's quite a legitimate source, isn't it? The President of the United States. So I put out a tweet that he had died, but you don't, like, I wouldn't have done that if, you know, another YouTube channel had said, oh, he's dead. You wait until you get official confirmation. Surely the President of the United States, well, should be reliable information, but of course it is Donald Trump we're talking about.
We have Mike Smith, who is the county sheriff here. We have all of our local chiefs of police that are here as well, all working hand in hand with the state and with the FBI as we move forward with this investigation. Now, I'll just give you a little warning. We will not be taking any questions at this time. We're giving you the latest information we have, being as transparent with everything that we have. But I do want to share a couple of things that I think are important. We cannot do our job without the public's help right now. The public has answered our call for action. So far, we've received more than 7,000 leads and tips. I would just note that the FBI hasn't received this many digital media tips from the public since the Boston Marathon bombing. This case also highlights the dedication of our law enforcement community. We have 20 federal, state, and local law enforcement partners that are working shoulder to shoulder to find the person who committed this horrific crime. With their support, we've completed nearly 200 interviews. As you're aware, as has already been reported, the FBI is offering a $100,000 reward for information leading to the identification and arrest of the person responsible for the murder of Charlie Kirk. We also continue to implore the public to support this investigation and come forward with any information. We are truly hopeful that this video and new photos will lead to even more tips. We are processing. We have an incredible team, a state and federal team working together to process those tips. We are going out in tandem to interview any potential person of interest or suspects. But we need, again, we need as much help as we can possibly get. Any videos or photos that you might have, the public, should be submitted to our digital media tip line, which is www.fbi.gov/Utah Valley shooting, all lowercase. Again, that is fbi.gov/Utah Valley shooting, all lowercase. You can also provide general tips about the shooting by calling 1-800-CALL-FBI. That's 1-800-CALL-FBI, or at tips.fbi.gov. This is, I would just say, this is not just a local matter here in Utah. We have people all over the country that are helping to bring this perpetrator to justice for Charlie Kirk and his family. I will just add as well that, as was mentioned, there is a lot of forensic evidence that is being processed right now at both the state lab and the federal labs, federal lab on the East Coast. So we are working in tandem together. I would also just add a word of note for those people who are spending so much time on social media. I think Charlie said it best, that when things get bad, we should put our phones down and spend a little time with our families. There is a tremendous amount of disinformation. We are tracking our team, the state team, and I'm sure the federal team as well. What we're seeing is our adversaries want violence. China, we have bots from Russia, China, all over the world that are trying to instill disinformation and encourage violence. I would encourage you to ignore those, to turn off those streams, and to spend a little more time with our families. We desperately need some healing. We'll have more to say about that in the days and weeks to come. More than
now, not being funny, but Donald Trump hasn't exactly been, paving the way to peace, has he? I mean, he doesn't, you can't go blaming everything on Russia and China. What about Donald Trump? He's the leader of the free world. He's the president. He's the one. He should be the first one to say, everyone calm down, let's take the heat out of the situation. And he's always, right from the insurrection when he was at the White House, when he was, finishing his first term and Joe Biden was coming in, people were actually worried that he might not leave. You know, that's so he's President Trump. I'm sorry, and if it's, I know there'll be Trump supporters out there. He hasn't exactly fanned the flames of peace, has he? Can't blame everything on Russia and China. He needs to be out there saying, him and Vance as well, J.D. Vance, the vice president. I know it's his friend, and it must, you know, there's be an anger there. That this man has been shot, and I understand that 100%. But you can't be fanning the flames of violence. You've got to go out there and say, look, everybody needs to take a step back. We need to work together. I mean, the thing is, doesn't matter what descent you have, you're all Americans. You know, you're all Americans. You've got something in common, whatever your political views are. And the thing is, everybody says they're doing things in the name of America to save America. But this is not saving America. You know, what will save America is people being nicer to each other. So although he's say, you know, I suppose he was never going to say, oh, well, and I would ask our president to maybe calm things down a bit. But you shouldn't have to be asked as a president to calm things down a bit. That's your job. Keep people safe, calm things down, you know, not incite violence like he does.
Anything, we are going to catch this person. Last thing I will just say is we've been working with our attorneys, getting everything that we need, affidavits ready, so that we can pursue the death penalty in this case, and that will happen here in the state of Utah. Again, to the public, to those who are grieving, thank you for your prayers. I know we are feeling those prayers. I know the Kirk family is feeling those prayers as well. We pray that God will bless our nation at this very dark time. We can start healing by finding this perpetrator and holding him accountable, and we need your help to do that. Thank you.
I think that's it. So that's where we are, you know, with this. Now, of course, America, as I say, it's asleep at the moment as far as news and stuff like that is concerned. Maybe, you know, in a couple of hours, America's normally waking up around 4. It's normally around 4 in the afternoon in Spain, where I am. So if you know, maybe they'll have apprehended the person overnight. You can't think that it could take too long, really. And I hope they do catch him alive, because we want to know why he did it. You know, what were the reasons, who he is, what were the reasons he did it? Is he that angry with Charlie's views? You know, it's, we'll see. So, yeah, hopefully the person will be apprehended soon. You know, and I mean, is he, right, I'm going to show these pictures again, and some people have said these are AI, this one in particular, maybe it is AI enhanced. It appears very clear, doesn't it? But anyway, looking at the T-shirt, well, you know, I just don't know, you get these pictures. Anyway, we'll let the police deal with it, but yeah, let me know in comments. What do you think? Do you think this was some sort of professional hit? Do you think it was a hunter? You know, just someone who's good at shooting, because it was a good shot, or was it a bad shot? Because was he aiming for the head and he ended up getting the neck? So that's another way of looking at it. Maybe he wasn't that good a shot. So if he was that good a shot, he would have actually hit Charlie in the head if that was his target. And then maybe, and I'm talking about as far as the sniper is concerned, he was just lucky that he got him in that other very vulnerable place. But it could just as easily, if he missed, have hit him somewhere like the shoulder or like the ear, like with President Trump. You know, so what do you think? Do you think this is a professional hit? Do you think this is like just someone with a grudge against Charlie? But they must, you know, they're good at shooting, whatever. Even if they missed the head, they weren't that far off it, were they? So to shoot, they're quite a good shooter, whichever way you look at it. And maybe they're a hunter. Or maybe they've just been practicing a lot. You know, like people go out practicing, don't they? And if that guy was maybe in his 20s, He could have been practicing shooting since, 16. I mean, in America, they buy their kids guns for their birthdays, don't they? And their Christmas presents. It's just alien. If you're American and watching, I'm not trying to insult you as an American. What I'm just trying to express is how alien that is to a British person or a Spanish person. You just would not buy your child a gun for a present. Maybe if you were into hunting and that, maybe in the UK, I don't know. Does anyone here who's watching from the UK know of someone who ever bought their child a gun, a real gun I'm talking about? I mean, yeah, they buy like toy guns and things. When I had my son, I was determined not going to give him guns. I'm talking about toy guns. And I'm not going to buy sort of toys for him, that are sort of, what's the word, gender related. Do you know what I mean? Like girls have dolls and boys have guns or stuff like that. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to buy him, or all different sorts of toys and just see which one he likes. Now, he did like, which I understand why now, because he likes eating. He did like the cooker that I bought him. I bought him a cooker. He liked that. And, there was like all sort of toy food, you make burgers and stuff like that. Like that. I tried buying him like mops and buckets, toy ones, hoping that he might get into the habit of cleaning. Nah. And then literally as years went on, he just started asking for like cowboy things, and guns and stuff like that. So I do think there's a genetic thing in there. The thing is, you have to, but there'll be boys that don't want that. So boys shouldn't have to think that they've got to be like that. Either way, they shouldn't have to think they've got to be manly or they've got to be girly or they've got to be anything. People should just find their own way. And there'll be girls out there that when they're little, they're tomboys and they like doing the boys' things or what are, traditionally thought of as the boys' thing. Things, it's all tolerance, isn't it? If your little girl doesn't want a dolly, but she'd rather have a cowboy and Indian set or whatever, then just let her have it. I think problems start when you try and make somebody do something that they don't really want to do. Make them play football, but they don't like football. Find something else. Maybe they like golf. Maybe they like boxing, or maybe they like netball or whatever, tennis. Just let them do what they want to do and don't try and make children be a certain way. That is my ethos on it. If your child wants a doll and it's a boy, give them a doll. If they're a girl and they don't want a doll, don't buy them a doll. It's easy. It's like just not forcing somebody to be what you think they should be to your expectations. Let them be their own person. And listen, don't think by saying that I'm some perfect parent or I think I'm not. I've done loads of things wrong being a parent. I know that, because being a parent is hard and you think it'll all be easy. It's not. So, but what I have learned from being a parent is you should, within reason, you can't let them go off and, kill things and stuff like that. Within reason, you have to just let your child be themselves, whatever that themselves is, and not be constrained by what you think they should be doing, things, what should we're all different, aren't we? We're all different. So bye, David. I'm going to finish now anyway. So, okay. I've got to go now. So thank you for joining in the chat. As you can see, a lot of you have been chatting, a lot of you have been watching. Thank you so much. Thank you for caring about Charlie. And as I say, Charlie's views probably couldn't be more further away from my own views as far as politics are concerned. Though there's some things that I agree with him on. As I say, we've all got, you can be left of centre, you can be right of centre, you can be far left, you can be far right, you can be, what are all these labels? We're just people with views. you know, and you can be left wing thinking in some things and right wing thinking in other things. Well, it's not as easy as that, right and left, is it? It's not as simple as that. You know, you can be in favour of one thing that people traditionally associate with the left, and you can be against something else. So, you know, that's how it is. So, okay, I'll see you all very soon in the next video. Now, of course, very important, please do not forget to like and subscribe. And also don't forget to press notifications, so you'll be notified if there's any news, and I come back on to let you know if this person's been apprehended or, you know, any other news about it. So like, subscribe, but also don't forget to press a notification bell. Thank you so much. I will see you really soon in the next video. And until then, as always, may your God go with you. And I'm sending prayers for Charlie's family, for his wife and children. I hope they find a way to cope with this. Bye.